Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good lineup for you guys. I think we have 2 first appearances, 5 honorable mentions, so 7 titles on all to go through. There's definitely some books in there worth picking up for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week, ending June 21st, 2024. First up from Marvel Comics, Captain America number 10. This features the first appearance of the Seer. Now, generally, we recommend picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. You know, Marvel Disney is still churning out a ton of media for the small screen and big screen. If any of these characters from the comics hit the screen, collectors will race back to the comics and try to find the first appearances. This here is the first appearance of the Seer. We really don't know much about this particular character at this time. The book's just coming out today. But like I just said, if these characters hit the screen or they become a big deal going forward, collectors will race back and try to find this first appearance. So that's why we typically recommend picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles. You know, if this character goes big, you're in it for a few bucks. If it goes nowhere, you're out a couple dollars. So go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. And finally from Marvel Comics, Venomverse Reborn number 1. This features the first appearance of Venom from the PlayStation universe. Like we just mentioned a moment ago, it's typically worth picking up the first appearance of new characters in Marvel titles, but this one here is actually the first appearance of Venom as he appears from the PlayStation universe. So this one here is definitely going to be a little more speculative. You know, it really depends on what Marvel Disney plan on doing with this particular rendition of Venom. If they bring this particular version of Venom to the screen, make this particular version of Venom a big deal, then this here is one you definitely want to own. But if this here is just an alternate universe version of Venom from the PlayStation universe, this one here may not be all that important. This one here is definitely going to be a little more speculative. We really won't know about this one until the future rolls around. So grab this one here for a spec if you can. If you can't, do it, put it in your B-list and take a look at it later on. And now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Misery number 1. This here is a 4-issue limited series based on Misery, the daughter of Spawn's ex-wife. Now this one here is definitely going to be a little more speculative if you choose to pick it up. You're definitely specking on this particular character or this series becoming more important in the Spawn universe in general. It's really hard to say how popular Misery, this daughter of Spawn's ex-wife, is, and how well collectors and fans are going to respond to this particular series. So this one here is definitely going to be speculative if you choose to pick it up. Maybe worth doing so for the cover price though. Grab this one here if you can for a spec, otherwise put it in your V-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin Re-Evolution number 2. This features the origin of the new Turtles. This one here, we do think you should pick up for your collection. Anything related to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin series, anytime they have a new character, or the origin of any of the new characters in this particular series, these are books you definitely want to own in your collection. These books are hot, collectors love them, fans love them. These books are definitely worth owning in your collection. You know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise right now, super hot, just as hot as it was back in the 90s when they first came out. So this is one we do think you should pick up. Go ahead and grab this one here for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Uncle Scrooge Infinity Dime number 1. This issue introduces the Scrooge Above All, a multiverse-hopping thief. When Uncle Scrooge's mini-bin gets stolen, he must undertake a quest alongside other versions of himself. Now, this is not the typical book that we usually include in our list, but there's been a lot of buzz about this particular issue, this Uncle Scrooge Infinity Dime. There's been a lot of talk with fans and collectors and hobby shops about this particular issue. So people really seem to be anticipating this issue. So just based on the hype alone, this one here may be worth consideration. This here will be more speculative because this is an Uncle Scrooge title. We really don't know how this is going to hold up in the future. But just based on the buzz about how collectors and fans really seem to be excited about this particular issue, it may be worth picking up. This here is a Marvel title, and this is Marvel publishing the Scrooge title. So, you know, this one here, like I said, may be worth a spec. You know, for the cover price, you're really not risking on that much. You know, if this goes big in the future, you're in for $4 or $5, you know, you're going to be looking like a rock star. If it goes nowhere, you're out $3 or $4. It's really not that much risk. And, you know, it's like I always say, sometimes the risk is worth the reward in these books, especially if there is already hype about this particular title. So this one here, pick it up for a spec if you can. If you can't, though, put it in your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Scout Comics, Stitches number 1. Now this series is already in development with Sony Entertainment. A violent gang of punk bros known as the Stitches defend the rundown trailer park from invading monsters from the Blood World. As the Stitches fight for survival under their maniacal leader Crooks, they prove themselves to be one of the toughest crews around. In doing so, the Stitches earn tons of street cred and the scary attention of Papa Duke, the ruler of the Blood World. Now this year is part of the Night of the Cadillacs universe, and like I said, that is already in development with Sony Entertainment. They are developing that whole series, and there's been a lot of separate sub-issues attached to this Night of the Cadillacs series that is in development. So all these books here, these premiere issues, these are definitely worth picking up in our opinion. Since this particular series is already in development with Sony Entertainment, in our opinion, this year is a no-brainer. So this is one we definitely think you should pick up for your collection. And finally, from Image Comics, Destro #1. This here is the premiere issue of a limited series featuring Destro. Now we put this one here on the list because a lot of these offshoot miniseries that are part of a huge franchise, especially one with a huge fan base, huge collector base, these are often worth owning. These seem to go under-collected or undersold when they first come out, so there's not a lot of them out there. So these premiere issues for these subset series or these spin-off series from these huge franchises, in our opinion, these are definitely worth picking up for your collection. You know, for $3 or $4, it's definitely worth the risk. If you look through price history, a lot of these spin-off titles, or a lot of these small miniseries that are attached to huge franchises, they actually do pretty well in the secondary market over the long term. This series here features Destro, of course part of the G.I. Joe universe. Huge fan base, huge collector base. So in our opinion, the risk is worth the reward on this. Grab this one here for your collection if you can. If you can't, then put it in your B-list, but definitely keep an eye on this one. So there you have the 7 titles we have for you guys this week. There's definitely some books in there you guys should pick up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. As always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Surf Fact Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.